Ladies and gentlemen, would you please rise for the playing of
the Sibling Rivalry Baseball Podcast.
And here's your host, Jana, and her big brother, Jeff.
Welcome to this week's Sibling Rivalry Baseball Podcast. We are back. This is episode 12. Is that right? 12? I was amazed that we were like not at episode 2, I guess, but right. 12.
111 of the series, a set. If you got a box set of it would be 4 seasons long, 111 episodes.
Yeah.
Including this one.
Yeah. So I am Jana, and that is my big brother, Jeff, and we are here again this week to talk about baseball, our favorite thing. We've got college baseball. We have who's going to Omaha and how they will be matched up in Omaha, and that will start this week. And of course, we have me lamenting about the Dodgers this week and some good news for the Angels. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's get it rolling.
Yeah, crazy weekend around the country, mostly in the South because that's where all the regionals seem to be, thanks to the SEC. Super regionals, best of 3, and really some exciting games. Couple of the series were like quick. They were over. Boom, boom. Done.
Yeah, Florida, I think, took the first 2 games over
right.
South Carolina.
I think they were the first ones to get to punch their ticket, as it were. And then followed by TCU was the other one. Florida, of course, taking out South Carolina, and then TCU they took out Indiana State. So now we've got the 8 teams going to Omaha.
Yeah, we've got Wake Forest, Florida, as we mentioned, LSU, they beat Kentucky. Virginia lost their first game to Duke, but they came back to win.
And didn't make any, there was no question about it.
Right.
And the first game was pretty close.
Yep.
The next 2 games were not close.
No, they were
in fact,
very solid.
After the second game, I can't remember his name. Stephen Scotch, I think is his name. He's a pitcher for Virginia, and they were talking to him, and he said the crowd there, they were playing in Virginia, but there were a lot of Duke fans there.
Yeah, a lot of blue.
And they were like, come on, lose. That's what they were, that's the basics. You guys got to lose. He said, somebody said, I'll buy you some Dippin' Dots if you lose the game. And he thought, I could really go for some Dippin' Dots. But if we win today, we get one more day. That's more per diem. Another day of per diem. I can buy my own Dippin' Dots. So we'll just win.
Yeah, and just go to Omaha. That seems like a better plan. TCU took out Indiana State, and this was an interesting one because they were supposed to play at Indiana State, but they ended up playing at TCU, and the main reason was because there are not enough hotel rooms near the Indiana State campus, and they were having the Special Olympics there the same weekend, so they moved it to TCU. It worked out to TCU's advantage because they had home field advantage and they won. Oral Roberts and Oregon. This was a really good matchup. Oral Roberts came out. They took 2 of the 3 games. The first game, Oregon beat Oral Roberts 9-8. Second game, Oregon is stunned because Oral Roberts comes out and beats them 8-7. And then in the next game, I think it was 11-9, 11-8.
There was a lot of runs scored.
Good game.
Oregon came back in that first game.
Yeah.
Like from when I saw the score, it was like 8-2. And then next thing you know, Oregon's on top and celebrating a win and hoping to get another one. And Oral Roberts. Now, at first you look at it and you go, Well, Oral Roberts made it. That's not too bad. I mean, they haven't been to Omaha since 1978. That's pretty incredible. But then you see when the last time Oregon went to Omaha, and you go, well, maybe I would have liked to seen Oregon go, because Oregon hasn't been there since like the 50s.
Yeah, yeah. But that was a really good series. And then Stanford and Texas, that was another one that was a really good series. They battled it out. Texas took the first game, and then Stanford took the second game with pitcher Quinn Matthews getting 16 strikeouts and tossing 156 pitches. 156 pitches.
Did his arm fall off?
I think it fell off. They had put
I'm sure
it on ice.
somebody's upset about it, that he threw that many pitches.
Oh, well, Twitter was crazy. Like, how could a coach let him go that long? It's like, this is the championship. And I bet Quinn Matthews was like, yeah, I can go.
And who's to say that he's going to have any kind of success if he goes to the majors, gets drafted or anything? He may not make it. Let him put it all out there the way he wants. And maybe instead of crying about pitchers going over, 75, 100 pitches, this is a once in a lifetime thing. You may never get another chance.
That's right. That it could be it. In the game 3, this was a wild game. Stanford actually led this game for the majority of the game, and then Texas came back and tied up the game 6-6. And then this is the bottom of the ninth. Stanford's Albert Rios is his name. He thought he had a walk-off home run, but it hit off the wall, and there's a Pac-12 sign on the green. It's like on the wall is green, and then there's a sign, and it's white and red, but the majority of the color is white. He thought he had a home run. It bounced off of that logo, so you couldn't see it. And the first base coach is like, you better run, because he had flipped his helmet off. Stanford came out of the dugout. They were ready to pounce on him. He gets to second.
That's farther than Marcelo Zuna got.
Yeah.
We'll talk about him later. We forgot to mention him last week.
Yes. So then there was a walk. And then the ending that the Longhorns never saw coming, never want to see again. This was a pop-up, routine pop-up. It was dusk. The lights were on. Second baseman knew where the ball was, but nobody else could see it. The outfielders couldn't see it. The ball dropped for a walk-off single, and Stanford is headed to Omaha. It was heartbreaking. It was awful. Even thinking about it now, I just feel so bad for the Longhorns, because that's how their road to Omaha ended. Right. On a pop-up.
It wasn't just flat out, there was a chance they could still win, and they lost it off of something like that, off of an error.
Yep, it was just bad. And then Southern Mississippi and Tennessee. Now this game, one thing I got to say is those smoky grays that Tennessee wears, those are sharp.
Yeah, I like
those. This one was hampered by weather, and they finally got the third game in, and Southern Mississippi just couldn't do anything against Tennessee. Tennessee ends up blanking them 5-0, and the Volunteers are going to Omaha.
They were like a top-rated team last year and couldn't make it. This year they finally go. And the first game of that matchup had to be continued the next day. It was called in like the 5th inning or something like that.
Yeah.
And
they just had really bad weather.
there in Southern Miss. Same thing was going on. You mentioned LSU and Kentucky. They had to postpone and postpone and postpone. LSU in the first game versus Kentucky, and this was a quick series. LSU just took them out. 6 home runs in the first game, 2 each by Tommy White and Trey Morgan. So that's 4, and then they just didn't fool around with it. So they deserve their spot there. So this coming weekend we start double elimination all over again. Bracket 1 will have Oral Roberts, TCU, Virginia, and Florida. So they'll play each other. And for double elimination, and then and how it progresses. And then in bracket number 2, you'll see Stanford, Tennessee, LSU, and the overall number 1 made it through, and they really took out Alabama pretty quickly and easily. So just proving they are the number 1 team. So they've still got the number 1 seed intact for the tournament, and like I said, they'll start their walk or ride or run towards the championship there in Omaha this coming weekend. Before we head off to see what's happening with the Dodgers, a couple of notes. Angelo State from San Angelo, Texas, took the Division II baseball title and beating Rollins, which I don't know where Rollins is, and like a dummy, I forgot to look it up. Rollins University, Rollins College. What I did note was that Rollins, to get to the championship game, beat a school I am familiar with, Cal State San Bernardino. The Coyotes were eliminated by Rollins before they went on. San Angelo, or Angelo State, was the number 3 seed, and this is their 3rd straight visit to the championship, and finally they walk away with the crown of Division II champions.
And Rollins is in Winter Park, Florida.
Okay, so they should be okay or good, because spring training happens in Winter Park.
Yeah, and you can play baseball pretty much all year round.
And then big story, the Women's College World Series has been concluded, and I think everybody just quit because they realized there was no beating the team that for the 3rd time in a row and for the 7th time overall took this year's and those other titles. The Sooners of the University of Oklahoma.
Yeah, Boomer Sooner.
3 straight wins, and like I said, the 7th title. They look pretty good. When I was watching, I'd never seen it, because I know that some things that you see, like not everybody wears a hat or a visor in softball,
right?
But the pitchers were wearing masks.
Yeah, they had like face mask on.
And I'd seen in the past where, like a lot of times with the helmets that the women wear, they have like those face mask cages on. There were quite a few that didn't have it this time. Some did, but most of them didn't. But the pitchers both wearing them. And then one last thing I had to. So congratulations to the Sooners. They're just tearing up. We'll see if they can go for 4 next season. The something I noticed, maybe you noticed it. I noticed it last week when Kentucky and West Virginia were playing, that the players all had like some sort of a fanny pack pouch thing that they had on their belts, and they would check them. It had all the signs, I guess, on it. So they'd look in the dugout, they'd get something, and then they'd look at their thing. And at first I thought, is that the new thing? They can't remember. I guess they're college students. They got a lot to remember. They can't remember the signs on the baseball field. I don't know.
It's
I do know they have like
crib sheet.
Yeah, I do know they have like pitch comm kind of thing they wear on the wrist. And so I saw a lot of them have that. Almost everybody in that game, the Kentucky West Virginia game. Then I went for a few games. I didn't see anybody with them. And then I saw a couple other games where some had them. Is this, I don't remember this being a thing. And maybe last year I missed them, but it was just kind of a weird thing to me that you needed, it's like the quarterback with their plays, when they go into the huddle, the catchers or the pitchers even would have, instead of having that on, they have like a big wristband that has like the little deal like a quarterback has, so we can look at all the plays. And it was just kind of like I'm trying to remember who was the announcer, former, and I can't, I wish I could remember his name. He was a Major League Baseball player at one point, but and a college player. And he was saying, well, when I was in, there was just a couple of signs. He ran his hand across the chest. You knew to steal the base, or, if he tugged on his ear, it was hit away or whatever. He goes, now, is it so complicated? They got to look at their little thing and see which one it is. So I didn't know if they were just putting 4 fingers up and then they got to look at their little thing and then decide. But it was just kind of threw me off. I didn't know if you noticed that.
I did notice that. And you're right. They're cards, and it's just, it's part of their play calling system. And so they have it where they can just look and they get a number from the dugout and then they look at the card. So it's like they're, what do you call it? Like where you're doing this number corresponds with this, kind of a puzzle.
Yeah, it's
in
secret
a way.
Code kind of thing.
Yeah, secret code. That's what it is.
It just was like they'd look in, then they'd look at their thing, and then they go hit. It's like,
Yeah.
It's like, anyway.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
it
so
looks silly because I saw that too. I was like, what's that guy got a fanny pack on for?
And he's wearing it in the wrong place.
Yeah.
Because it's in front. It's at their belt. So anyway, College World Series will fire up this weekend. And I think it all starts off with Oral Roberts and TCU. So check in with, I don't know, ESPN. ESPN's pretty good about putting on the upper right-hand corner of the screen the other games that are going on and where you can see it. ESPNU, ESPN2, ESPN Plus, which means I'm not watching it. But check that out and enjoy the glory of Omaha.
It's time for Dodger baseball.
So the other day, I'm watching one of the games there, Jana, with the Dodgers. And at first I thought it was like a new game, like a current game. And I saw this guy come up to the plate, and I would have sworn, if I hadn't seen his number, I would have sworn it was Ron Say.
Yeah.
But Ron Say was number 10. Who's number 10 now? Is anybody number 10?
I don't know. JT was number 10, and
Right.
I don't know that who is number 10.
I mean, unless they're holding it off to the side because someday they're going to retire it for JT, which I doubt because he's not going in the Hall of Fame, unfortunately. But I was just wondering. It just popped in my head now. Anyway, I think the guy was wearing number 89, and his name turned out to be not Ron Say, but Johnny DeLuca.
Yeah, Johnny DeLuca. Yeah, it's you are not the first one to just have that comparison or see that comparison. He was even
Maybe
asked
I was
about
the
it.
first one, and other people copied me.
Yeah, I think that's what happened is you were the first one and then other people picked up on it. And that's exactly what happened. Now they did ask him about it and he said, yeah, I've gotten that before. I'd love to see them side by side.
Yeah, that would be
picture.
good. Other than, like at the time frame that Ron Say was younger. Not now.
Yeah, just get a picture. Because he is definitely he does look like the penguin. And that's
Anyway.
about what the exciting happened with the Dodgers this week. And let's move on to the Angels. All right.
Okay.
Oh, 3 walk-offs. That pretty much sums up this road trip. The Dodgers are like a 9-11 in their last 20 games on the road. Went into Cincinnati thinking, it's Cincinnati, but Cincinnati
didn't I say
is playing well.
In the last episode, I said the Dodgers head for Cincinnati, which might cure what ails them, especially to make up for that loss to the Nationals. So basically saying should be a walk in the park for them. Should be no big deal.
No. Cincinnati, they came out ready to play, and it wasn't pretty, those first 2 games. The Dodgers have pitching issues. Their pitching staff has an ERA of over 5 on the road, and at home it's like 3.13, something like that. So, not too bad. But on the road, it's just not good. And I think before the season started, we knew that pitching was going to be an issue this season. Dodgers didn't go out and get anybody other than, they had Noah Syndergaard. And we had to see how that, we're going to talk about him coming up. Tony Gonsolin started the season on the IL. Julio Urias hasn't pitched to his true form. He's still on the IL. Syndergaard's a bust. May's on the IL. Walker Buehler's throwing off of a mound, but he's recovering from Tommy John surgery. There's no direction in the bullpen that I have seen over the last week. Do the Dodgers need a closer? A designated closer? Is that the issue? Daniel Hudson, who tore his ACL last season, he's on his way back, but we don't know how, he's going to go through with his rehab and what's going to happen there. So, and we haven't seen Blake Trinan. I don't even know when he's coming back. He had shoulder surgery, and they said maybe this season, like September, but who knows?
I saw something about him, and it was like they had sent him out there and he couldn't, and something happened, so they shut him down again. And
right, yeah, that's the thing. He was gonna start, ramping back up, and then, like you said, something happened and shut him back down. So now it's like maybe we see him this season, and if we do see him, it will probably be September. I don't know, but Cincinnati, the Reds were waiting for him. The first game was so frustrating because Freddie Freeman had a grand slam in this game. And JD Martinez, the two of them, he had a home run, and the Dodgers are up 8-3. They should have cruised, right? That's it. It should have been over. It should have been done with. But Cincinnati, they kept chipping away, and they end up tying the game 8-8 in the bottom of the 9th after Caleb Ferguson comes in, who he looked good at the beginning of the season, and now he is looking lost on the mound. He gave up 3 runs on 3 walks. And he was struggling. And it's like he just needs to face 3 batters. 3 batters, that's it. But I think he faced 6. And then Shelby Miller comes in. He faces 1 batter. He gives up a single. And that's it. Walk-off single. Dodgers lose 9-8. And it was the bullpen that gave up the 9 hits. Tony Gonsolin was the starting pitcher, but he only goes 5 innings. It's like he can't seem to get across that hump of 5 innings. He gives up 5 hits. He gives up 4 runs. He had 3 walks, 5 strikeouts. He didn't give up a home run, but his inability to go deeper into the game doesn't help, especially when you've got this bullpen that's in disarray.
All right, but let's not get too crazy with that yet, because Almonte, Gratterall, and Phillips held. It wasn't until Caleb Ferguson that the save was blown that they blew it right there.
That's true.
He gave up 3 runs. Those guys held him. It held even rookie sensation Ellie De La Cruz, who made his debut in Game 1 of that series.
Yeah. No, the thing with the bullpen, and I guess it's frustrating across, well, for Dodger fans, but probably just for all fans in general, when you look at your bullpen, when they come in and they do their job like the 3 guys before, you're like, all right, you're doing what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to hold, save the lead, hold on to the lead. And then, Caleb Ferguson comes out and they just leave him out there. And I mean,
well, that's what the bigger problem is they don't have a lot of arms. They get to a point, they think that they've got what they need, and then, they have to go to somebody else, and then Caleb comes in, blows it. The next night, it wasn't, they threw a lot of people out there after Noah basically gave up all the main damage.
Right.
Vesia, Robertson, Gratterall, and Almonte made it through, didn't give up any runs.
Right.
It wasn't until Evan Phillips came in that he gave up the 2 runs that caused that loss.
Exactly. Right. Yeah, I mean, this game had Ellie De La Cruz. He had his first home run of his major league debut. That tied the game 2-2. The Reds tied the game up 6-6 in the bottom of the 3rd, and it wasn't until the 9th when Will Benson, I think he was the right fielder, hit a 2-run walk-off home run. And that's the thing, is you don't expect when Evan Phillips to go out there that he's going to give up that 2-run home run. And I'm not saying that there aren't good arms in the bullpen. I think Alex Vesia, he's coming back to his form that we knew and from last season. And we know that these guys, they're going to have off days, but I wonder about the management of the bullpen. Does this is it on Dave Roberts on how he manages the bullpen, or is it the front office telling him in these situations, we're going to go? Because Evan Phillips, for a long time, and we've heard this even now, he should be the closer. But instead, we don't have a closer, and they use him in high leverage situations, which I'm good with that, because for the most part, it works out. But in this case, this particular road trip really put the spotlight on the bullpen.
Now, how much of that is because of the issues with the starting pitching? Obviously, and you haven't got to him yet, but Bobby Miller has taken a big load off of that because of the way he's been pitching.
Right.
Game 3 of this series, Kershaw.
Yeah, and that was the game that they won because he pitched 7 innings. And that's the thing with the starters, is we're not seeing them. Tony Gonsolin, is 5 innings and he's pretty much done. I think he's gone 6. I did hear that he's experiencing overall body soreness. So I don't know what that means and if that's going to affect him in his in the rotation. But he also needs, because he's not able to go past 5 or 6 innings, and he gets an additional day of rest because he just isn't able to, to be on, he has a hard time. I guess, this season. Last season, the first part of the season, he was great. He was an all-star. And then the all-star break, he just fell apart. So I think a lot of this, it's just the pitching staff in general, because it's the starting rotation. We have Kershaw, Gonsolin, and Miller. And thank goodness for Bobby Miller, because otherwise we would be in trouble. I know we have Syndergaard. Well, he's on the IL, but so we got those three guys, and that's your rotation. So you are leaning more on the bullpen. So then you're putting more pressure on that bullpen to come out and pitch well. And you know that every night they're not going to pitch well. But you wonder, because there's no specific, you're a middle reliever or you're this, you're just kind of throwing them in where you think the matchup is good. And that's just, it doesn't seem to be working.
No, because the pitchers maybe in their head think they need a defined role. Who is the closer? It doesn't matter. It just matters that you go out and pitch your best every time. It's like the other day, there was some stuff being talked about how, and I don't remember who it was, if it was the Mariners or who with the Angels, but the deal was they changed pitchers at the last minute. And they said, well, that's not fair to the hitters because, they're planning on this guy. And I'm like, it doesn't matter who goes out there and throws. If it's a pitching machine, it doesn't matter. You go out there and you hit the ball, not worry about the pitcher. When they do a change with a relief pitcher and you're coming up to bat, what happens? The guy who's coming up turns around and walks back over there, and somebody's got an iPad in front of them and they're looking at the notes about this pitcher. Just don't worry about it. Go out and find your pitch to hit. Don't worry about where he's sitting, because then you already have preconceived notions in your head.
Yeah.
And the same thing is happening with these guys. They believe if I'm coming in the fifth inning that I'm not as valuable as the guy that's going to come in the ninth. No, because how many times, if you don't do your job now, the guy coming in the ninth is going to be, Miguel Rojas for all we know. Or if they re-sign Hanser Alberto, he'll be the guy. But it's going to be somebody off of the field there. You know what? We're going to give Miguel Vargas a chance to pitch today. That's going to happen. And then you're not going to have a role at all because we keep getting beat so bad. The one thing that's been good for them, that's kept them in games, has been their offense. The offense has still been pretty strong. Yes. Like you said, game one, Freddie with a grand slam. That put him up by 4 runs, but yet they still lose in a walk-off. The next night, a walk-off. They finally win one. And, 6-0 was that game. It was a good game for Kirsch. Freddie Peralta handled the offense that day. Yep. Kind of drove the bus, 4 for 5, 2 RBIs. Freddie, another couple of hits, CT3 and a home run. Even Cuz, batting like 21, is he had a double.
Yeah, and with an RBI. Yeah. Now he was hit on his hand. And he had to leave the game. The X-rays came back negative. He was hit on the heel of his hand, so the more meaty part of the hand. So he said, it's sore, but we know how Cuz is. In fact, I thought this was funny. I've been reading Joe Kelly's book, and he has in this book, he has his fight club of guys that he would have. And he said Austin Barnes, and mainly because he's from Riverside, but, and he knows he has been in some scraps, but that's just how he is. He's just tough. And in this instance, it's like you don't see him leave a game very often. He would have been right back behind the plate. But luckily, it was negative. So, they have 2 walk-offs. Cincinnati, it's kind of a fluke, thing when you have the 2 walk-offs in game 1 and 2. But like you said, game 3, they come back. They, Kershaw blanks the Reds 6-0, has 9 Ks. And then Taylor Scott, who was brought up from AAA Oklahoma City, he pitched 2 innings. He gave up a hit and he had 2 Ks, 2 strikeouts. And then they head to Philadelphia. And you're like, okay, they had the walk-offs.
What?
But they go to Philadelphia with a win. So
they had the
positivity.
win, but I think that I think you underestimate the walk-off.
Yeah. I want to underestimate it because I hated it so much.
Yeah, when it goes against your team.
Oh yeah, if it's a walk-off for my team, I love it. It's the best.
Well, yeah. So they go to Philly, and in fact, 2 times in this series, one was a full-on bullpen game. The other one, they had an opener.
Right.
And that would have been Victor Gonzalez.
Yeah, and
I think he should have just left Victor in and just made it a whole bullpen game.
Yeah. Well, so they had Michael Grove going. I didn't forget to mention Michael Grove is in the rotation, but in this particular instance, as you said, they let Victor Gonzalez go. The first 3 batters was the plan because they're left-handed batters, and he's better against left-handers than.
So, and he went 2/3 of an inning.
Yeah. Yeah. So Michael Grove comes in. He ends up pitching 4 innings. He gives up 7 hits, 4 runs, a walk, and 2 strikeouts. Now, in this game, the Dodgers scored first on JD Martinez, double, and things were looking good. And then the Phillies come back to tie the game in the bottom of the 3rd, and then they went ahead in the bottom of the 5th, 4-1. But then Mookie Betts hits a 2-run home run to get within 1. And then Freddie Freeman comes up to bat, hits a home run. So back-to-back home runs, ties the game 4-4. It all came down to the bottom of the 9th. Who's on the mound for the bottom of the 9th? Caleb Ferguson. 2 outs. Kyle Schwarber hits a home run. It's a walk-off. The nightmare of walk-offs happens first game in Philly.
Well, you'll be happy to know it doesn't happen again.
It doesn't happen again. The Saturday game, awesome game. This is the game that Dodger fans are like, this is the team that we know and love. And Bobby Miller for president, because he is on the mound and he just, his intensity. I love his intensity, and he's a rookie, but he doesn't, he got into some jams, but he got himself out. He pitches 6 innings. He gives up 3 hits, no runs. He did have 3 walks, had 7 strikeouts, and then Andre Jackson comes in. He had been called up from Oklahoma City because Shelby Miller had been placed on the bereavement list. And this was the one that's like, oh, which Andre Jackson are we going to get? Because we've seen really good Andre Jackson and really bad Andre Jackson. And this time we get the really good one because he gives up 3 hits, but no runs, no walks, had 3 Ks. So that means Jumbo Jacks for the Southland with the purchase of a large drink. And things look good, right? 9-0. I always like how they had to throw that in there because it's not like you can just go to Jack in the Box and be like, "Hey, Jumbo Jack, you gotta
Usually
get,
it's with the purchase of something. I know when
Right.
the Angels win, you get free fries at medium fries at McDonald's with at least $1 purchase. Well, I don't think they do the dollar drinks anymore, but for around $1, you can get a drink. You buy some fries, you got a little snack.
Yeah. So
Got
anyway,
a snack.
I was doing my best Oral Hershiser impression there.
Very nice.
But yeah, I mean, Dodgers started scoring in the top of the third. Capped off the day with a 3-run home run by Mr. J.D. Martinez. And, this is the team that we expect the Dodgers to be. Show up every day at the ballpark and win.
4 for 6 runners in scoring position. So they did a good job there.
Yeah. Now, in this game, Rob Thompson, the
lead
Phillies
singer of, that's wrong, Thomas of
Thompson,
Matchbox 20. Thompson.
Of I was gonna say of Canada. He is Canadian, but of the Phillies, the manager for the Phillies. He was ejected after arguing about the pitch clock, which the pitch clock in Philadelphia is wonky and it runs fast. Even the Phillies say that. But he was upset because Aaron Nola is pitching, and Aaron Nola kept asking for new balls. He had thrown out, it happened throughout the game. The umpire felt that Nola was trying to game the system, because when that happens, then they reset the clock. And he was like, "No, I'm not resetting the clock." So he came out and was yelling, and he got ejected. And normally
it was probably
he's a
like
pretty...
an episode of Housewives or something like that he wanted to get into the clubhouse to watch. I heard, and I don't know specifically, but I heard there's a lot of drama on a show called Vanderpump Rules. So maybe that's what he was looking for. I don't know if it was on at that time, but maybe there was a whole big thing, and maybe he wanted to get in and find out what the drama was. So
maybe he had DVR'd it and he was like, I got better things to do than to be in this dugout. Well, he's usually pretty mild-mannered, guy. But yeah, so that was the excitement. The Dodgers win to 9-0, and then here comes the most ill-conceived. I mean, to me, your bullpen is not great, but you're going to have a bullpen game.
Necessity.
It is necessity in this case. It's, I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me, but what else are you going to do? They didn't call up a starter. One guy that we forget about is Ryan Pepio, and that's because he has been on the IL for weeks, months with an oblique strain.
Oblique.
So he's obviously
bleak.
So he's not available. And it's like, who are you going to call up? Right? Who in Oklahoma City is ready? Gavin Stone, what we thought was ready, obviously was not ready. That was a bust. But in this game, Philly had the lead the whole game. It wasn't until the top of the 6th, Freddie Freeman hit a home run to get the Dodgers on the board. Jason Hayward hit a home run in the 7th. And then the Dodgers would add on another run, but it wouldn't be enough. Nick Castellanos hit a home run to add 3 to the Phillies total. 7-3. Dodgers lose. 8 Dodger pitchers made their appearance in the game, including former Dodger and now current Dodger Adam Kolarek, who is back.
He was in for an inning and a third, just gave up 1 hit. The runs and the damage really came from a run by Caleb Ferguson, 3 by Nick Robertson, 2 from Taylor Scott, and 1 from Alex Vesia.
Yeah. So, and that's the thing. I mean, you get upset with the bullpen, but they're not always going to be great every game. But sometimes they're left in a little bit longer than they should be, like Caleb Ferguson, who has been good, but lately has not been. Now, they did say in Cincinnati that the mound was kind of wonky and it was hard to throw off of, but I'm like, that seems more like an excuse.
Yep, I believe so.
So Dodgers,
Taijuan Walker did the duty for the Phillies, and all he had to do was throw 5 and not give up any runs.
Well, but he was upset. I mean, he had like maybe 80 pitches, 83 pitches. And when he didn't go back out for the 6th, he was not happy because he felt like he probably could have gone through the 6th. And, another thing is a lot of times when I'm watching the Dodgers, and now in this case, like when the Saturday game, Andre Jackson did come back out for 3 innings. He finished up the game. But across Major League Baseball, you see this a lot where you have these guys coming in from the bullpen. They come in for 1 inning and you're like, they're throwing well. Why don't they come back out for another inning? Sometimes they do, but I feel like maybe Major League Baseball needs to take a page from college baseball, because those relievers, they're not coming out for 1 inning. They're usually coming out for at least 2.
You know what that
more.
means, though? You would have to have another rule.
For batters.
So now it's like 3 batters they have to face. No, they have to be in for 2 innings.
Oh, yeah.
So let's just keep adding on, and we regulate it to the point that it's not even baseball anymore.
Right.
And then you might as well have AI, because you can put all those in and do it. I don't even know where to start when it comes to their, like the bullpen and all that stuff. They had to do this because they've got no starters.
Right.
They've got nobody down on the farm. Not even anybody like in Tulsa that they want to call up. I don't know what kind of free agents are out there that they might be able to sign and to a minor league contract and then, call up from there. There's issues. Now, it's better to have these kind of injury issues now. The question will be here in less than 2 months, we've got the trade deadline. And the Dodgers are going to have to probably pick somebody up, whether it be a bullpen piece, but probably a starter. Do you take a chance at putting Thor in the bullpen now? Or do you just release him? Right now, he's getting a lot of innings. I mean, obviously he's on the IL now, but he was getting a lot of innings because he'd go out there and pitch. He may not pitch good, but he could pitch 6 innings of losing baseball, and you ate it up and didn't use your bullpen.
True. And if he was lucky enough, which he hadn't been, even if the offense was helping him out, he didn't help himself out. And that's one thing with him, is he's his own worst enemy. I mean, he has tried hypnosis. He has tried yoga. I think he even said that he would theoretically give up his firstborn child if he could pitch the way he used to pitch. I mean,
his problem is he's thinking about it too much.
Yeah.
Because every time
he's
you talk
in his
to
head.
him, he says, I'm my own problem. I'm pitching versus me. Or it's 10 people, 9 batters, and then me that I'm pitching against.
Yeah.
He needs to clear all that out and figure out how to start over. And maybe this time off will do it. But if not, he's a viable arm for the fact that he's not really injured to the point that he needs, any kind of surgery or any of that kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, you're right. I mean, he does eat up the innings. So, yeah, I don't know what you do, with him. He hasn't responded to the Dodgers, pitching clinic, whatever they've been telling him, Dodger pitching rehab that he seems to need. This is ongoing. The one thing, the bright side is, as you mentioned, was offense. The Dodgers have, they did well now in Cincinnati. I think it was both games they came out and they scored first, but then they got to like the fourth inning and then that was like it. They couldn't score after that. That cleared up, once they got through the third game and then got to Philadelphia. So now Max Muncy, on the other hand, is 3 for 23 right now. Will Smith was not, he did have some home runs, but Will Smith, when he's not hitting, it's kind of like, if Will Smith's not hitting, nobody's hitting kind of thing. And it's not the guys ahead of him, it's the guys kind of after him, except for David Peralta, who, has been leading a spark. So, but the Dodgers are home. And they will be facing the White Sox, and then they have a weekend series with the Giants.
Yeah, first time Giants have been into the ravine this season. Old friend, you mentioned him a little bit ago, Joe Kelly is in with the White Sox. So we'll see if he gets to make an appearance there. What kind of a response he gets from the crowd?
Dodger fans love Joe Kelly.
It'll be great.
Awesome.
And he said Dodger fans are the greatest anywhere. And it's not like they haven't. These two teams don't know each other. They share a spring training home.
That's true. They do. Camelback Ranch.
Yep. All right. So what does the player of the week look like for you?
So this week, I went with David Peralta. He was 7 for 17 with a .412 batting average. He had 4 RBIs, home run, and a double. And he just, singles sprinkled in, walks. He just he was on base, and he was leading the charge. Opening it up as they do. So I went with David Peralta, and haven't mentioned too that he is. He's a Gold Glover for a reason. He has really good defensive plays out in left field.
Yeah, he definitely, when he comes in, you forget he's there, and then once he plays, you're like, how come he doesn't play more?
Exactly.
I got to go this week with the rookie Bobby Miller. He only pitched the one game this last week with the 6-inning pitch. Only gave up 3 hits, no runs, struck out 7 on the season with his pitched 4 games, has won 3 of them, no decision on the other one. 23 total innings pitched, only given up 2 runs, earned runs, any runs. Has 23 strikeouts, 7 walks, and then a .78 ERA. His WHIP is about a .8, and anything under like 1.5 is good. Anything over 1.5 is bad. So he's like half of that.
Yeah.
He's doing great. At some point, he's probably going to come to earth.
Well, and that's the other thing is a lot of the teams haven't seen him, so they may figure him out. And here or there,
he'll figure it out too. That's what he's supposed to do, and that'll happen. He's got an ERA plus of 5.70. Figure an average pitcher, and like I said, he's going to come to earth on this too. But an average pitcher, 100 is league average. He's at 5.70.
Yeah.
Now that's small sample size. But that just shows how good he's been in the short amount of time, and definitely lifting up the team as much as he can to help them get through. Well, it was good times to be had there in Angeltown at the Big A the Angels had an incredible week. They went 5-1 on the week, sweeping the Cubs, and then taking 2 of 3 from their division rivals, the Mariners. Pretty good series overall. And as I'm looking through and watching games, I'm thinking, as I'm watching them play, I'm thinking, is it just me, or does it feel like they're maybe starting to get it? Not as many defensive errors, whether they be an actual error or a poor play. They've done overall pretty well offensively. That's what's kept them, with a different or a better record, over 500 and everything. And this is what they need, is to continue to be a few games over 500, simply because if they do happen to run into a losing streak, it won't hurt them as bad. Look at what happened with Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh doing really well and then lost like 8 or 9 games in a row. They were able to get back onto the winning side, and it wasn't long before they were back where they had been, whether they were in first place or real close to second place. Obviously, the Angels are in third at this point, but it's because they're playing in a division with Texas and Houston, and Seattle was supposed to be outplaying them as well, and they're not. So Angels, 2 5-game winning streaks so far this year. The last one just ended up in the series versus the Mariners. Pretty exciting stuff there. Still having an issue with Shohei and the mound, but not really an issue with him at the bat.
No, he looks good. I mean, this first game he hit his 16th home run. Angels win this game 7-4. So he's looking good at the plate. But on the mound, different story.
Yeah, we'll talk about him on the mound, game 1 of the Seattle series. So, yeah, Tyler Anderson on there only goes 5 innings, still gives up 4 runs. Not really striking anybody out compared to his walk, 5 strikeouts to 3 walks. But he's lucky that the offense did their job and Carlos Estevez is in his bullpen. 15th straight save coming out of that one. Jose Soriano, who I mentioned, wanted to mention last week, but got sidetracked somewhere and forgot him. He called up, and I was talking about him and the way he pitched versus Ben Joyce, because he pitched right before Ben Joyce in one game, and he got some strikeouts when Ben Joyce didn't. He's throwing curveballs. There is some curve in that, but he doesn't have Ben Joyce doesn't have as much. He has natural movement, but he doesn't really throw anything. I saw him throw a changeup in a game that was like 87, but not a lot of curveballs, not a lot of sliders in that. It's normally just the heat. We'll talk a little bit about him coming up too, but Soriano strengthening the bullpen up. Some of the guys that were having issues seem to be getting a little better. Jimmy Herget, who had some issues, starting to look a little better. But that night, Taylor Ward gave up the 4 runs, but the Angels didn't fool around, and with a decent amount of offense, scored 7. In game 2, another win. Like I said, they swept the Cubbies.
They did. This time they win 6-2. And there's a home run by Mr. Mike Trout, which, you expect kind of a home run every game from Mike Trout, but he had one in this
Mike's
game.
Even saying, I got to figure out the best ways to be more like old Mike.
Yeah.
He's doing his own be like Mike. I want to be like Mike. And somebody said that one time, is like, I want to be like Mike. And they said, Trout? Because I'll do that. I'd like to be like Mike Trout. That was a few years ago,
but he's figuring out. I did see that he's trying to figure out, how to be Mike, circa,
Yeah,
Different
MVP years.
yeah, exactly.
You got to figure every player changes.
Oh yeah.
Mike Trout went from being, a single guy playing baseball, or having his girlfriend, and then gets married. Then all of a sudden he's a dad. Little things like that. You see players that changes, and then also for many years he didn't really have to be the leader of the team.
That's
Albert
true.
Pujols was there.
That's right.
Justin
Yes.
Upton. You had elder statesmen.
Yeah. So and he's in that role now.
Right.
So that obviously is a lot different in how you fit in.
And he has to take that role, and it can't cause him to play at a lower level. He's got to learn how to shoulder the burden of leading the team and lead the team by example on the field.
Right. Oh yeah.
And he's having his moments, but still there were a couple times where he swung at high fastballs, and I get it. Some umpires, you never know. Are they going to call it for 3 innings? They'll call that pitch that's just above the zone, and then and they'll call it a ball, and then for the next 3 innings they'll call it a strike. Sometimes you got to swing at pitches you think are close, and he's always had a pretty good eye. So normally if he doesn't swing, I feel like it wasn't in there. Now I've seen some where he just misses it, but I think he's too much thinking about something else in his head. And I think there's too much information pouring in that he's too worried about what he thinks the guy's going to throw. Everybody needs to be. There's a line in a recent episode of Ted Lasso where he says, goldfish, be a goldfish. And if you don't get what that means, it's goldfish have very short memories, they say. How they figured that out, I don't know. But it's like 10 seconds or something, I don't know how.
Yeah.
And basically he was saying to a football player, to a soccer player, he was saying, shake that play off, be a goldfish, forget about it, go on to the next play. And a lot of players, especially when you can go back and sit down and look at 27 angles of your at bat and see the pitches, the guy's not going to throw you the same pitches again necessarily, or not in the same order. You never know. When you get there, look and see, where does his pitch break at? But it might not pitch that way next time because he throws it off a little bit. Don't get caught up in that. And I think sometimes he does, as do a lot of players.
Oh, yeah.
Regardless, they got the win. Game 2, Jaime Barria on the mound. Ben Joyce just walked 3, struck out none. In that one, it was Aaron Loop and Sam Bachman who saved the day for that one. And, like you said, a 6-2 win. Mickey Moniak, like you said, Mike Trout with the home run. Rengifo, 2 for 4 and 2 RBIs to help power that. Final game saw Reed Detmers do something he hasn't done all season long.
Yeah, he finally got a win.
Yeah, he walked out on the mound 0-5. And he walked away with his first W, went 5 2/3, gave up 1 run, 5 hits, and 8 Ks. Now they were 0 for 10 with runners in scoring position, but they did get the 3-1 win. Also doing a first for this season, Joe Adell making his season debut, and on the very first pitch, he hit it like 450 plus feet. And for his first off the bat at 114 miles per hour, because some people are very excited about those numbers. I think that also gets into these players' heads about how hard they're hitting the ball and what the launch angle was. Who cares? You hit the ball. Did it get you on base? Did you help the team? Yes. Move on. Anyway, Joe Adell, and not a bad night, 1 for 3 with that home run. And it seemed like defensively, he was a little bit better off than he's been. So we'll see. There's really no place for him. He was only called up because Hunter Renfroe was on paternity leave. As soon as he was back, that's the only game Joe Adell plays so far this year. He's already back in Salt Lake, and Hunter was back by the weekend.
But he got his home run.
So he came out. He looked good for that little bit, and then, off he goes. But he did help power the Detmers. Reed Detmers getting that first W. Chad Wallach also in there. In that game too, Trey Mancini, he's the reason that they got the run for the Cubs there. And that was it. A wrap on the Cubs. The only time they'll see him this season. They go in, they get set and ready for Seattle.
Yeah, good series for the Angels. Obviously, a sweep is always nice, and so good vibes coming into this Mariners series.
Now we've seen that good vibes coming in that didn't last long before. They swept. Who did they sweep a few weeks ago and then got swept by the Marlins? They swept Boston. And then got swept the very next series. So they undid all that they had done. This time they carry forward. Game one puts this is a good pitching matchup. You've got the supposed ace of the Angels, Shohei Ohtani. Well, look at the rest of the pitching staff.
I know. That's right.
All right.
Yeah, he is the ace.
And then, and even when he's bad, he's still better than many others. And then the Mariners ace, Luis Castillo. It was really not Luis Castillo's night overall. He gives up five runs, which was all the Angels would need. He did that over 6 innings, 6 hits. Did strike out 10. Shohei only made it through 5 innings, gave up 3 runs, 3 hits, and left in time to have a chance at the win. It was really not so much Shohei on the mound, but Shohei at the bat that Casey couldn't live up to what Shohei did.
Yeah, he homered, had 3 hits. So at the plate,
you're underselling his 3 hits.
I am underselling it. Yes.
Well, carry on.
So you can sell. No, you can sell it.
All he needed was a triple.
That's it.
And for the 3rd time this season, he came 1 hit away when he's pitching, when he was on the mound.
Yeah.
1 hit away from the cycle.
Yeah, it was the 7th time and 2nd this season that Ohtani homered in a game where he also pitched, and he has also hit safely in the past 6 games, and he's 11 for 24 during that stretch. So at the plate, looks good. On the mound, he has even said, and I think in this game he said afterwards, he just didn't feel good about his pitching.
And they're talking too that he's showing more fatigue this season than he did last season. And I wonder if some of that is that, during spring training, it's a different routine, a different vibe. Shohei didn't really have a standard spring training. He was thrown into the mix of the World Baseball Classic.
That's true. And
played high leverage games, was pumped up and fired up. So they were playing real baseball at a high level, to which they won. He struck out Mike Trout to win, the World Baseball Classic. And then he comes in and he picks up where he left off. And I don't think he wants to say, I'm too tired, I can't do it, I need an extra day off. But they've seen it, and he's kind of saying it. He sees his issues, but he's not able to correct them.
Yeah, he said that, normally they had his last 2 seasons, his schedule was on a stricter 6-man rotation. And so he would pitch once a week. And this time he's pitching every 6 days, nearly every turn, so it's a constant. And I think, as you mentioned, with the World Baseball Classic, there was never any downtime or to work yourself up to that level of play, because he was constantly, going. And then, is the pitch clock, is he, he's a little bit slower. He's always been a little bit slower in his delivery, and now he has to, speed it up because of the pitch clock. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. I think there's a lot of factors.
Yeah, I think so too. But because of that, I think it's also, I wonder, does it put him in a bad spot regarding his contract coming up? I know people want him, but if you already start seeing that there could be some downside, it changes the value. And how much do I really want to spend that amount of money that everybody's talking he'll get for somebody that may end up just being a DH a couple of years down the road? Not that he's not a great DH, but his value is cut in half if that's all he can do, because he's not able to pitch.
Yeah, that's true. Well, and I also want to mention too, is he throws the sweeper a lot.
Yeah.
And I wonder if it's his pitch selection, because he's throwing that one pitch a lot and then he sprinkles in the others, if that has anything to do with fatigue, arm, where you're just feeling, because you're throwing that one pitch all the time. He calls his own pitches.
Yeah,
so.
Primarily he does. So it's a lot going on out there. He may need to figure out how to loosen his own load a little bit on how much he does, and yeah, maybe he's too dependent upon that one pitch, and he needs to figure out a better way, because he wasn't throwing that particular pitch last year, not specifically, threw something like it, but was not the same. And it's a breaking pitch, but it's just different the way that he throws it. It may be that's causing more fatigue as well. Anyway, Mickey Moniak, also with a home run in that game. Former Angel Mike Ford had a home run in that, along with Jared Kelnick. They end up winning it 5-4, which takes them into day number 2, game number 2, with an L on that one, 6-2 loss there. Shohei hit number 18 on the season. Went 1 for 4 with 2 RBIs. Zetto continuing to be the rookie and sensation, 2 for 3, and scored a run. Drury, Urshela. It's usually Drury, Urshela, Renfroe, or some mixture thereof.
Right, you're right.
That has something, and it helps, try to keep the Angels in the game. Those guys have all proven to be great pickups.
It didn't help in this game. The Mariners had 16 hits to the Angels 6. Patrick Sandoval on the mound drops his 5th straight start, struck out 8, but allowed 10 hits and 5 runs.
Yeah, all on 5 innings. First appearance of the season for Gerardo Reyes, who pitched okay. He hasn't been he's been in the Angels system since about 2020, and first appearance this season. Let's go back a game. Forgot to mention Ben Joyce. Faces one batter, and then ends up leaving the game with tingling in his hand and numbness in his pitching side, arm, hand, and came out there. We'll get. I'm sure you have more information about him on the wheel. So we'll talk about him in around baseball. But he does leave, and will find his way onto the IL. So it was really Seattle's night in the 6-2 loss. J.P. Crawford 4 for 5, Julio Rodriguez 3 for 5 with a home run, and Eugenio Suarez 3 for 4, and he was a great cog for them last year as far as hitting a lot, and part of the reason, along with Julio, that they made their way into the playoffs. They had a lot of guys start up last year that I noticed over this series really they're not showing the same sort of contributions that we saw from Ty France, Cal Raleigh. Those guys just aren't at the same level. Will they get there? Maybe. Don't know. There was an issue in this game, though. Did you see that? There was Phil Nevin gets tossed out of another game. His head almost explodes. And with reason, there was once again, another terrible pitch called where it was clearly a ball. It was a third strike, and the Angels had players on, and it was against Ohtani. Ohtani's the one that got the strikeout on that one. But it wasn't even in the zone at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Phil Nevin had enough. He came out there once again. Scanners pops into my head. Boom. And while I'm thinking about coaches, a few episodes back, I was talking about the third base coach screwing up and sending a runner home. And all of a sudden I'm like, hiccups. Maybe Phil Nevin is cursing me with some hiccups. And I said Paul Butterfield was the third base coach. It's not. It's Hasselman. I forgot about
Butterfield, Hasselman.
But Butterfield wouldn't have sent him at all. Even seeing it was offline, because he played everything very conservatively.
Yes.
Anyway, so that happened. Unfortunately, didn't get ejected for the season. But, at this point, nobody's going to talk too bad about him because they've maintained a 500 or better record most of the season. And they're playing pretty well right now.
They are. Yeah.
They're coming together. Like I said, it looks like they're starting to get it. And now when they're having an issue, it's probably more about just that one player and not a systemic issue. And hopefully that's just because the players have said, we just can't do this. We want to win something. We want to do this. They still have slim to no chance of going to and winning the World Series, but their odds of making the postseason have gone up to 16%.
Hey,
so nobody's really buying into them yet. And the problem is they're going to have to be, right now you're looking at out of the West, even if everybody's as good as they have been, the East, AL East is probably where your wild cards are going to come from.
Right. Yeah. Looking at it now.
I would be surprised if they didn't have four teams, just about out of the East, if you can do that. But
yeah. Well, in this last game with the Mariners, Griffin Canning on the mound, Angels bounce back from that loss. They get a 9-4 win. Zach Neto was the catalyst because he led the way. He had, and Shohei Ohtani had 3 hits in this game. Matt Thaiss drove in 3 runs. Taylor Ward had a third leadoff homer of his career and second this season. Shohei Ohtani had 3 hits for the second time in 3 games. And right now he is batting .381 in June as of this game. And Griffin Canning, like I said, on the mound for the 3rd time in 4 starts. He struck out 7 in 5+ innings. So he's looking good. So it looks like, I think maybe Tyler Anderson, maybe he's figuring it out, trying to. He's saying he needs to stop thinking about executing and just attacking. Mm-hmm. So if he keeps that mindset, Griffin Canning has looked good. So the weak link right now is Patrick Sandoval.
Right. Yeah, he's definitely at the bottom. Jaime Barria just above him. And then, but Reed and Canning seem to be putting it together, and Shohei's about where he's been. He still needs to overcome these early. Plus, in that one game Shohei pitched, it was like five walks to 6 strikeouts, and he had been doing so much. He had been striking out more batters.
Right.
So,
and he said Zach Neto led the way, but I didn't even give his line. He was 2 for 4. He had 2 home runs.
Yep.
2 home runs. He got to wear the helmet, what's that called? The Shogun, the
Samurai Shogun
Samurai,
helmet.
yeah.
Yep. He pitched against Canning pitched against Logan Gilbert, who another one of the top pitchers there, usually right behind Luis Castillo. He didn't have a good outing though, thanks to the Angels offense. Ty France, Teoscar Hernandez, both with 3 hits. Mike Ford with another home run, former Angel, as I mentioned before. So the Angels have an awesome week. Can they keep it up? I don't know. They're going to play Texas.
Ooh, they're going to the grill. Yeah.
Yep. Will they get grilled? Will they get served up and eaten while they're there? We'll see. And then if they do have a bad time in Texas, they're going to Kansas City after that, which could be better for them. I don't want to jinx it because look what happened with Cincinnati and the Dodgers.
Exactly.
They do have an interesting, an up and a down series because you're playing Texas, who has been pretty incredible, who just recently played Tampa Bay and had an okay series versus them.
Yeah.
Not great, but okay. And so they might be coming back out here to reassert their strength and their place in the world. And if the Angels can keep playing like they're doing, they give themselves a chance every night. That's all they can ask for. And then, of course, the Royals, who have been having a hard time this season. Player of the week?
I went with Zach Neto this week. He was batting, 6 for 14. He had, 2 walks, he had 2 RBIs, he had the 2 home runs, but he always was in the mix, either defensively, offensively. He's really coming, into his own. So Zeto for me.
All right. Zeto's not a bad choice. I went with Reed Detmers as my, and crazy 2 pitchers this week for players of the week. Just, he picked up his first win, but I'm starting to see, I thought about Zeto, but I figured he's putting himself in a position where he'll be, he'll probably see it again somewhere down the line. But Reed Detmers, he had a great outing, and like I said, he's finding his way home here to being the upsides that we thought for him. All right, the bullpen cart is all juiced up and ready to go as we ride around baseball. And we'll start it off like we always do with this week's MLB Players of the Week.
Yeah, American League Player of the Week is Baltimore's shortstop, Gunnar Henderson. He had a .526 batting average, hit 3 home runs, had 6 RBIs, 2 stolen bases, a 1.053 slugging percentage in 5 games. And the National League Player of the Week we head to Arizona, and the Diamondbacks outfielder Corbin Carroll had a .500 batting average, 2 home run game, 8 RBIs, 9 runs, 3 stolen bases, a .542 on base percentage, and 24 total bases in 5 games. And he is one of the reasons why the Diamondbacks are number 1 in the West, the NL West.
Yeah, they've been just playing above their heads, you would think. Torey Lovello getting an extension through 2024.
Another extension.
I don't think he cares. I'm just doing them 1 year at a time, and if I'm out, I'm out, and I'm good. I meant to bring this up last week. And so there's a couple things that we missed last week that one I didn't mention but meant to, and one that we did mention and forgot to bring up. or, come back. So I was watching highlights. I don't remember on what, but MLB or something like that, ESPN. And we're talking about, and it really hit with me because I was thinking about it that, how many leadoff home runs has Mookie hit? And they had mentioned at one point it was like 40. I think at this point he's at 42 leadoff home runs or something like that, 41 or 42 leadoffs. And so that puts him right above Charlie Blackmon at number 10 on the all-time home run leadoffs because he has 40. Mookie's got 42. But then a little bit later on the same show, they talked about, it was Quick Pitch. And they talk about George Springer from the Toronto Blue Jays center fielder, if you didn't know that, hitting his 54th leadoff home run, tying him for second all time. You know who he's tied with?
I don't.
I was kind of surprised by this. Alfonso Soriano.
Oh.
Was not the name I expected them to hear.
No.
To say. And then who's fourth on that list? Because Soriano and Springer are tied. It's
right.
Craig Biggio.
Huh.
Not as surprised by that one. This one really got me, though. Ian Kinsler.
Oh, wow.
I wouldn't have guessed. He hit 48 leadoff home runs in his time with the Tigers, the Rangers. I don't think when he was with the Angels he ever hit any leadoff home runs because he wasn't leading off. But the easiest one, or maybe the hardest one, who's got the most leadoff home runs all time? He also leads all time in another category. That's pretty much unrelated, really, when you think about it. Home runs in this are different. They don't work together because he couldn't be number one. If all he did was hit home runs, he couldn't be number one in this other stat. He hit 81 leadoff home runs.
81. Wow. Trying to think who are leadoff hitters. I don't know. Who would it be?
He is arguably the greatest leadoff hitter in the history of baseball. He is not only the leadoff home run champ, he is also the stolen base champion.
Oh, Ricky Henderson?
Yeah, Ricky Henderson hit 81
wow.
leadoff home runs. He hit 9 of them in with the Yankees in 1986.
Wow.
So, and he's fourth on the all-time list for games played. He played 3,081 total games in his career.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's why I said they're opposite. If you hit a home run, you're not going to steal a base. But he didn't just always hit home runs. The most he ever hit in a season was 28. But he hit enough that he stole a lot of bases and 43 leadoff home runs with the A's alone. He had half of them just about with the A's. And with that, he would be ninth. Just at that point, he'd be ninth on the list. But nope, he is number one. And George Springer is tied for second till his next leadoff home run. And then the second thing that we didn't talk about, you alluded to, it was the longest single of the season so far. And it served him right.
It did.
That did it.
Yeah, Marcell Ozuna. I think it was like a 451-foot single. They were playing in Phoenix, so against the Diamondbacks, and that's a that field, every field has, the way it's constructed, the different dimensions, depending, like they'll say, well, in 27 ballparks, that would have been a home run. And I think that's kind of what this was. He thought it had gone out. It did not. And he stopped to admire it and made it to first.
And then was promptly removed from the game for not hustling. Because he should have at least been at second base. Marzell's a big guy. I wouldn't expect him to get to third, but he should have at least had a double out of that.
Exactly. But he was too busy admiring his single.
Yes. So Ozuna, what a knucklehead.
Well, I have a story about a guy who's not a knucklehead. Now, I don't know his name because this was from an auction site and they didn't put the name of the guy. But there is a 1952 Mickey Mantle rookie card that's been stored in a Velveeta cheese box for over 50 years. And it is heading to auction. So the owner of the card went off to the Army. And his mom cleaned out his room, threw his baseball cards away, or so he thought. His brother held on to the rookie card, and he actually hung on to 12 cards, including a Pee Wee Reese card. So his brother kept the card, put it in a Velveeta box in a crawl space. So, should be, I don't know what condition it's in. I think it's in pretty good condition because it had no light was touching it. It may smell maybe a little bit like cheese, but it is going to auction. And they say that this card could go for 7 figures or more. So when that happens, we will report it here on Sibling Rivalry Baseball Podcast.
Yeah, it's a pretty crazy story. Puts it in the box. It ends up in an attic. Mom's got no clue. Throws away all those baseball cards and some comic books, apparently.
Yeah.
I don't know if there was any comics that he remembered having that were of any money. I'm sure at the time he was like, just you threw out my comics, not you threw out, $700,000, comic book or something. Because at that point, who knew?
Yeah. So that one, I'm interested to see, what, when that gets sold at auction, what it will sell. That 1952 Mickey Mantle rookie card. All right. This one, I feel like it's a little too late because they weren't showing up to games. And now fans in Oakland are going to protest the A's ownership group because they're moving to Las Vegas. Well, the plan is that they're moving to Las Vegas. And they haven't done this for how long, but they now have decided they're going to buy tickets to go to the Coliseum. And they're calling it a reverse boycott.
Okay, but correct me if I'm wrong. The A's are like on a 5-game winning streak or something like that.
Right. And see, this is the thing. If they weren't on this winning streak, would this boycott be happening?
No. The anti-boycott boycott?
Right. The reverse boycott.
No. All they're going to do by selling more tickets is give the team more money for the moving vans. Now,
the ownership says that the tickets that are being sold for this protest game all of the money will go to community organizations in Oakland. So, hey, good on them.
Well, that works out nice. Just to say, we're going to put the money back into the community. but you're still going to have to come to Vegas to watch us play here in a couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, the goal was a sellout. That's their goal. The reverse boycott is a sellout for a team that has, I mean, the Albuquerque Isotopes have had better attendance than the A's. Probably the Quakes have had better, the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes have had better attendance.
Well, just wait until Omaha this weekend.
Oh, yeah. No, that will blow it out of the water.
Off the hook. It's going to be crazy, the fans that are showing up there compared to show up and that's probably even with this boycott thing. People aren't going to just, some people will show up, but it's like, why do it now?
Right.
You know,
that's the thing.
Why haven't you been there all along? Support your team, win or lose. I'll sit here every week and say bad things about the Angels. I'll still go to Angels game. It still kills me when they lose.
Oh, yeah.
But as part of a fan, I look at what are the things that could be changed? What could we do?
Mm-hmm. Right. No, I mean, you feel the same way. Like, luckily, I think I told you in that first game in Philly, they had the walk-off. I watched the majority of my games on the MLB app, on the MLB TV, and it refreshed right as Kyle Schwarber hit that home run. So I was like, okay, and just didn't have to see it. Still was irritated, but
I had to
was going to watch the next day.
And I was watching, and I was like, come on, let's go. And I had to turn it off. But I knew when Kyle Schwarber was coming up, I just knew that was probably the end of it.
Yeah.
And seconds later, I got the notification on my phone.
Yes.
And then seconds after that, I got a notification, another walk-off or whatever you wrote.
From me. But going back to this reverse boycott, you're right. They have this win streak. You're doing it now. Why didn't you do it at the beginning of the season? You knew, I mean, them moving has been the topic of conversation for several seasons. It is not news, and you should be, supporting your team all the time. But
they should be, and the other place they should have been is all these A's fans that want to do this should have been at Oakland City Council meetings, making it known they don't want the A's to leave and do whatever they want. But consistently, not only that, but when they have measures on the ballot about it, they vote them down.
Right.
And then they're upset because this team is leaving.
Yeah.
They saw the writing on the wall for years.
Oh, it's been years. Yeah. I mean, they've been trying to get a new stadium. And like you said, it's,
they get to a point with the new stadium where it seems like they're on a good path. Ooh, looks like it's going to happen. And then they turn it around and make it into something else. Oakland has always had, at least from the baseball time frame, everybody's gone. They had the Raiders, they had the A's come, from Kansas City. They had the Golden State Warriors there for all this time. Golden State Warriors couldn't get a new arena there. They got one in San Francisco. The Raiders couldn't take playing in that stadium with the A's anymore and said, we got to go unless you can get us our own stadium. And they said, no, we're not going to do it.
Yep. And they're in Las Vegas now with a beautiful stadium.
They don't win there.
Really nice. They don't.
But they got a beautiful stadium. And I can't see where the A's are going to be any different.
Right.
It won't seem as empty with the 30,000 seat arena, or field stadium that they're planning on having, about 30,000 compared to, I think the biggest college stadium for attendance wise, capacity wise, is Neyland Stadium in Knoxville, University of Tennessee's.
Yeah.
They can hold over 100,000 fans on any Saturday. for a football game, and many do and still have overage.
Oh, yeah.
That's about how many the Coliseum can hold, it seems like. And if there's only 12 fans there, it seems like it's really empty. If there's only 12 fans in Vegas, that'd
be okay.
The one thing that they have in Vegas is the same thing that the Raiders have. They're not going to have to worry too much about their own fans, because how many people go to Vegas on vacation or for a weekend? And they could say, you know what? The Twins are going to be in Vegas on this date. Let's go to Vegas that weekend or for that series. We'll go and do the Vegas stuff we wanted to do and see the Twins play. They're going to get a lot of that kind of.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely. So, yes.
Anyway, we'll keep watching it.
We'll see how this goes. But
they play Tampa Bay this week. So let's see, if they're able to hold on to that winning streak, or if Tampa Bay brings them back down to earth, which seems to be what I'm talking today. You're back to earth. Bobby Mills come down.
Really come back to
it's all going to come back to earth. They're going to come back down to earth. And before we go real quick, I noticed last week that the Orioles and the Giants played, and we got two teams that are on different sides of the spectrum. I mean, the Giants are playing kind of middle of the road baseball, and a lot of that's thanks to Jock Peterson has just been fire. But they both wear black and orange.
Yes.
So I was thinking about it. Almost every team is some sort of blue, maybe blue and red, with the exception of the Padres, the brown and the yellow. The A's, green and yellow or green and gold.
Mm-hmm.
Pittsburgh,
right,
black. And the only other team that really rolls black that I can remember off the top of my head, the White Sox, because they have the white and black.
Detroit is like navy,
Detroit's
right?
like navy blue.
Yeah.
And then Colorado's purple.
Right.
Unless
Yankees.
they wear their city connects. The Yankees, though, are blue.
That's true. Yeah.
So there's not many, but even if like when you look at the National League, they have the brown and yellow and the black and yellow. Everybody else, and then purple. The American League, and then of course the black and orange. So there's in the American League, you have the two teams that both have black and orange. There's no other teams like in the National League, the American League, that match up with like a black and yellow, or the brown. The closest is green and yellow with the A's. And I just always wondered, why is it that there's not more of that? Colorado Rockies on their City Connects are green and white. But when you look at it from there, everybody's pretty much some form. Diamondbacks, I'm not really sure what the Diamondbacks are.
They're kind of all over the place. They kind of whatever they want.
They kind of got a black and a red thing going.
Yeah, they do, with the turquoise kind of sprinkled in. Speaking of jerseys, the Pittsburgh Pirates are set to unveil their City Connect jerseys on the 22nd of this month, and they will debut them on the 27th. Now, a photo was leaked from a photo shoot, and it shows players wearing black pants with a yellow jersey with PGH on the front of the jersey. Now, I don't know any of the other, like what's inside the collar, what's stitched inside the collar. Don't know any of that yet. But I wonder why they didn't put Pitt across it, but I'm thinking maybe because the University of Pittsburgh, there was copyright with the Pitt across it, so they put the PGH, which is kind of like the Milwaukee, kind of taking a page from the Milwaukee, the mics.
Yeah, but at least that one is the airport code.
Right. And the airport code for Pittsburgh is
PIT. Right.
But
is there a smaller airport maybe in the area that's PGH and they're going?
I don't know. But yeah, so we'll be talking about that probably on the.
They already sound bad.
They do. That's why I'm saying they're the last ones, I think, of the season to be unveiled, and we're not going to be wowed. I don't think we're going to be wowed by them, but we'll tell you all about them in our fashion report when everything comes available.
For the record, the Union Station there, the abbreviation for Pittsburgh Union Station is PGH.
Okay, but when you think of Pittsburgh Pirates, do you think of Union Station? No.
I don't. I think of Willie Stargell, so they should have put, STG or STR or something like that.
His face,
Yeah, just that. Just like Cincinnati should have gone with chili spaghetti. Just a plate of it, a picture of it. That's all. Maybe some chili stains on the sleeves or something like that, but that should have been it. And alas, they did not do that.
They did not.
Which, what, I think some of these uniforms, I think when some of these players see them, that's probably at which point they like to do something to get themselves hurt so they could end up on the wheel. Oh, what the heck? I sounded like Peter Brady right there when his voice was cracking.
Oh, right.
Trying to, yeah. All right.
Jacob deGrom's worst nightmare has come.
What are you talking about, Marsha?
Jacob deGrom's worst nightmare came true, and he is out for the season as he had Tommy John surgery this week. And just as a side note, he turns 35 on June 19th. So happy birthday to Jacob deGrom. But he was, we had mentioned last week he was moved to the 60-day IL. We knew it wasn't good. And then we got word that he was going to undergo Tommy John surgery. He was in tears at the press conference. Poor guy. He, signed this big contract, and so we'll see, how long it takes, for him to get through. Pitcher Nick Birdie of the Cubs is on the 15-day IL after having an appendectomy, and he'll be out until the end of the month. And this is like the second or third appendectomy that the players have had this season.
I think the last time we talked about that, I think I had said Luis Robert, but I think it was actually Eloy Jimenez.
That's right. Yes.
Had the appendectomy.
Yeah.
But I don't know what just popped in my head with that. Another thing, if you remember in seasons past, we talk about Jacob deGrom. We do the little Law and Order sound.
Yeah.
I stopped doing it. Two things. He's not in New York. And
right.
That's where Law and Order is.
Yeah.
But he was okay when he was pitching, but now he's just always so broken. I don't really know what, and somebody asked the other day, just as a general question on Twitter, is he a Hall of Famer? Quite simply, no.
No. Yeah, no, he's not. After making his comeback, Liam Hendriks is on the 15-day IL with right elbow inflammation, and there is no timetable for his return. Nick Zinzel of the Reds has right knee soreness and is on the 10-day IL. Jake Fraley has a wrist contusion.
Why couldn't that have happened a couple of weeks ago so that he wasn't on? Because he played pretty decently against the Dodgers.
Exactly. So he's on the IL. Charlie Blackmon has a broken hand, and he has been placed on the IL. Yordan Alvarez is on the 10-day IL with a strained
oblique. I got to work that one out because I got to a point with it where I should have them all the different tunes I'm trying to do here.
Yes.
Because I had oblique, oblique,
right,
oblique. I was playing in a game one Saturday night and I twisted wrong and my obliques. I got to figure that one out.
Yeah, you got to work on that one. Okay. Ben Joyce.
My oblique's not right.
Oblique.
O-B-L-I eek. O-B-L-I eek.
Okay. Ben Joyce, the Angels flamethrower. He's on the 15-day IL with right ulnar neuritis. Now, it is the irritation and inflammation of the nerve on the inside portion of the elbow, the ulnar nerve, which can lead to elbow pain and numbness, tingling, and weakness of the involved hand. If it is diagnosed early, the treatment is usually straightforward. You take anti-inflammatory medication to help reduce the swelling. You might use a brace at night to keep your arm in a straight position. You have exercises. But if none of the above treatments don't work, or if the nerve is compressed, then you may have surgery. So we will watch that. Trace Thompson has been moved to the 60-day IL as he is been dealing with an oblique strain. Byron Buxton has a...
What?
Well, he was on the 10-day IL.
Oblique. Oh,
but
my
it's worse.
side. Oh, my side. There you go, an oldie on Will of IL radio.
That's right. Byron Buxton has a rib contusion, so he's on the 10-day IL. Pete Alonso is on the 10-day IL with a left wrist bone bruise and a sprain. Aaron Judge did land on the 10-day IL after running into the visiting bullpen at Dodger Stadium with a right big toe sprain. There is no timetable for his return.
Curses that block of cement.
That's right. But Pete Alonso going on the 10-day IL, the Mets fans are not happy with that, and they're not happy with the Mets. So I'll have to talk about that next week as we, see how.
Happy with them either. They still have a losing record. They're under 500.
Well, and they were supposed to be, I have the money. Steve Cohen got the money.
So the question is, does Steve Cohen overhaul everything? Is the problem the players or is the problem Buck?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Is what's his name? Epler, the GM. Is he the problem? He couldn't get it done in Anaheim.
It could be. Well, I mean, I just saw Scherzer just recently pitched. I think he only went 3 innings, maybe 3 1/3. I mean, and I didn't expect anything from him when he was signed by. They made a big deal. Oh, look, he's playing with the Mets, but he has a dead arm. So what are you going to do? So, but
point and laugh.
Yeah,
laugh and point.
But that's it. That's the Will of IL.
All right, let's go back to Pittsburgh for just a second. Big milestone moment there when Andrew McCutchen becomes the 291st player to join the 2,000 hit club. He is one of only 5 active MLB players at this point to have over 2,000 hits. Miggy Cabrera leads them all with over 3,100 hits. Joey Votto just above 2,000, 2,093, and he hasn't played all season, has he?
No, he had that shoulder surgery, started rehab, wasn't feeling right.
Oh, that's right.
And then went back on the IL, and I think he's still, I don't know that he has made it back to a rehab assignment.
I just wonder if he was at his normal, how much better could the Reds be?
Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, Nelson Cruz and Elvis Andrus, all over 2,000, and now Andrew McCutchen did it appropriately enough and at home, really.
Yeah.
With the Pirates.
Perfect.
Pirate Stadium there.
Yeah.
So PNC Park. Pirates need Kutch. I don't know.
Just work on your oblique songs. How about that?
Oblique. I got it. Will of IL, and I
So
was
to
working
go
on a
along
song about
with
bunting.
to go along with our box set of episodes, we'll throw in the oblique.
Rontel Records presents Stupid Oblique Songs. You'll hear.
Your favorite, such as.
And that's it. We'll call it an episode. We'll be back next week. We're going to put the tarp on the field for now. In between, sometimes we tweet, sometimes we post, sometimes we don't. You don't have anything to do all summer. You had some kind of a research project you were going to do, but I don't even remember that. That was within the last couple of episodes you mentioned that, but I haven't seen anything about it.
Well, I'm still working on it. That's going to be a kind of a season-long thing. That's a pitch clock pictures. But I do have some ideas on things that I can tweet, and I just gotta do it.
Unlike
right?
you, I work 12 months a year. You only work 9 months and 10 days.
Yeah.
All right. It's like, come on. You gotta start. You're the social media director here.
I know. I need to get more social.
More. Yes, exactly. All right. Well,
I will do that because you can find us on Instagram and Facebook at SiblingRivalryBB with the A.
Or on Twitter at SiblingRivalryBB without the A. And also on our website, SiblingRivalryBB.com. Check out the Fanatics link. Father's Day, still time. We get this. We're not quite to Father's Day yet. You still have time to get Dad a really cool gift. Or as we used to say in the 70s and 80s, a bitchin' gift. Bitchin'. Yeah.
That's right.
Anyway, you still get him a good gift.
They just released the 4th of July hats.
Oh, yeah,
and
I did
those are
see that.
really nice looking. So, that's and a gift card is always great for Fanatics too. But click on those links
as well. Do them. Just go through our links and you'll get a good deal.
Yep, and help support us on the show.
Help support the team. Exactly. All right. So next week we will be talking about Omaha and what's been going on. We'll see if by next episode we have a champion. If not, well, maybe we'll push out the episode a little bit so that we can get to the point that we can announce.
And I'm rooting for Oral Roberts. And who you got?
I think I'm going with Tennessee.
All right.
Just because of the uniforms.
Just those grays. I know that.
Yeah, I kind of like that.
Smoky grays, which is perfect.
Yeah.
Smoky Mountains, Knoxville.
It works great with that orange.
Oh,
really,
I
really
love
nice.
it.
All right, so we will see you next week as we traverse the rugged terrain of baseball and a day at the park. Have a great week, and don't forget to swing away.